everyone, welcome back to Lucky by Nature. Angelic Vixen here. So they made a lot of updates with this patch that just rolled out on all the different platforms. So I want to go over the fixes that they put in. There's actually a lot of really interesting things that they fixed that are going to be very helpful, but there are some things that I didn't notice that are being fixed yet. So hopefully maybe it's, they put it in and they forgot to list it here, but maybe not. And hopefully with the next update, they will fix this stuff because it's actually becoming a huge issue. But let's get right into it and let's go over what was fixed. So as you can see here at the top, they have the fixes for the King Titan. There was so many issues with the King Titan, especially with the other bosses on the map. So I am so happy to see this. And then we do have the fix for the cooldown because that was, becoming a huge issue for people. Because I don't know how you feel, but Extinction for me has been a lot easier to do boss fights than even like Aberration. I mean, a lot of people are doing boss fights. A lot of people are very successful on Extinction doing boss fights. So all of these fixes right here are going to be great for everybody doing that. The thing that was actually really bothering me, looks like they fixed it. And this is the increased radius for the City Meteor Shield. And the reason this mattered is because where we were located previously on our Extinction map, when the meteor shower would happen, wow, they were coming in close, and even one hit the bridge that we were on, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought they fixed this on the last patch, but they didn't. And so at first Beast was like, no, I don't think so. And so I recorded it and showed it to him, and I was like, yeah, they really are getting this close. So it was definitely a problem. So it looks like this will no longer be an issue for the sanctuary, because that needs to happen because people were losing stuff way too often. And then, of course, the reduced meteor impact damage to 750, which is going to be so much better because when this was happening, people were losing some major stuff because, I mean, that was some major damage. And then improvements to the height fog in the desert biome, which definitely needed to happen. Now moving into Titans. So as you can see here, we have increased damage. There's a sword and pistol for tamed Titans. 9 times and 3 times. I mean, look at this. That's going to be big. I mean, there's been a lot of problems with the Titans, and the Titans were actually completely wiping PvP servers, and people were not coming back. So now these things will definitely make official servers more playable, because they were not playable before. I mean, people would get stuff and the whole server would get wiped. It was nuts. It was actually really bad in the beginning. So that looks like they're considering that. I would say this is, definitely important on the PvP side, PvE as well, but a lot of the impact for the Titans was definitely on the PvP side, because I do feel like Extinction was more designed for PvE than PvP, but it looks like with these changes, it will definitely be better. I mean, as a PvP player, and even though we play both, we prefer PvP over PvE, these things were definitely killing the game on the PvP side. So that's going to be nice. And then there's an increased turret damage multiplier to tame Titans. That's very important, again, for PvP because of what was happening. I mean, turrets, they were just like laughable at first with the Titans. I mean, it really was laughable. Watching some of the stuff going on and talking to our friends who play official, we were like, oh my gosh, like it was nuts. And then changes to the Titan downloading. Again, very important because of what was happening. The Titan is disabled for 15 minutes after download, and then Titan takes increased damage during this time. So if you see him come in, you have more time to do some business and try to save your server. And then increased Titan download cooldown for 6+ hours. Again, these things needed to happen. And then of course they're fixing typos that, you see every once in a while. It happens. It's human error. Now this is where it gets interesting for PvE, okay? So we've got the orbital supply drops, okay? The legendary drops have been buffed for difficulty and quality of loot. As you guys know, we've done a ton of testing with orbital supply drops. This needed to happen. But then look at this, okay? I find it funny that they're doing this for PvE, but I also know why they're doing this for PvE. People were sitting back waiting for people to do the orbital supply drop, and as soon as they would actually release all the loot, they would come in and steal all their stuff. I mean, it got really ugly. I mean, you talk about some major PvE wars. It got ugly, and of course, you're not allowed to grieve on PvE anymore. They police the servers, and you can't use dinos to wipe other tribes. If you get caught, you can get banned. So can you imagine not having any retaliation for a person who does that to you? Yeah, it got ugly. So now it can be claimed by a tribe Only that tribe can disable the shield, eject the items, and gather the loot. This is huge. This needed to happen. The only problem that I see, because we have PvE servers as well as PvP, is they do these drops, as a community. And that's one thing I genuinely love about PvE. PvP and PvE have benefits and, problems of their own. They're very distinct in their differences, but PvEers typically come together to do boss fights, and they've been coming together to do orbital supply drops. So this is going to be a problem if you go in to help a tribe do this. They gather the loot, and then they have to be honorable to give you your portion. And so I do see new problems coming in because of that, because PvEers generally do stuff as a community. A lot of tribes come together to do stuff. So that's going to be another workaround, but at least now people can't sit back, let you do all the work, and then steal the good loot, because they go on with that whip and they just steal all the good stuff, and there's not a whole lot of retaliation because it's PvE. So then they fixed the bug where there was one event at a time, which needed to happen, and then improvements to the shield for the low FPS servers, and then improvements to attacker pathing and behavior. Again, very important. Now, again, this one also benefits for PvE. The element veins, which has also been an issue. It can be now claimed by a tribe in PvE, and only that tribe can harvest the element. This one, not so much leading to drama as like the orbital supply drops where the community comes together. Of course, in the past, they would come together and they would do the element veins together. So now, again, it's going to have to do with honorable things that people are doing. I mean, in the past, when we did PvE, when we were learning the mechanics of the dinos, we went to PvE to test that out, and we played official. So because we wanted to experience the full part of every element of this game, like that was really important. PvEers will do boss fights together and everything. So, in PvE, we would split the element from boss fights. This was actually really prevalent for us on Scorched Earth. We would do the Manticore with other tribes, even tribes that we later had falling out with, but we would split the element equally across the tribes, and everything was great. Well, now it's going to have to go back to that, because nobody from the one tribe that actually starts it can get the element. So it's going to have to be an honor system. So I hope you guys are honorable. If not, there's going to definitely be some grieving. You're not going to escape it. They'll wait somehow, some way, and they'll get you, All right, moving on to the Desert Titan. Okay, I love that they've made these changes, but again, after I went through this, I didn't see some of them, which is kind of, worrisome. Okay, so increased damage when it strikes itself with lightning, which is important. These things are very OP. Improvements to the Desert Titan follow to address flying away. Okay, again, these were all very prevalent issues that were becoming a problem. They fixed the flocks not defending properly, which it needed to, because everybody went after the Desert Titan because it was the easiest one to take down. I knew of one person several times taming the Desert Titan, killing the Desert Titan. It was just nuts. It really was. These things were supposed to be like super difficult. They're really not. The Ice Titan seems to be the most difficult of them all, at least from my point of view, and it's still not even that bad. Improvements on the tail attack accuracy, the fix for the flocks not defending, I already read that, made the tail attack damage consistent, because it wasn't, disabled the crying of the flock, and then fixed encumbered movement when walking on the Desert Titan, which I hated that. That was driving me crazy. I was like, really, guys? Seriously, fix this. Oh my gosh. And then there's been improvements to dropped items. I don't really need to go over this because it's self-explanatory. There was a lot of times where things were just ghosting, falling through structures. It was just bad. People were losing stuff constantly because the game was broken, severely broken after Extinction came out. We've been having to deal with a lot of stuff. And then the eggs, guys, right here. These right here is the same as up here for the dropped items because, eggs were falling through. The fix for the invisible rock drake eggs and wyvern eggs on Ragnarok and Scorched Earth and Aberration. Oh my goodness. Finally, because that was a nightmare, having to go around and hitting every single nest with your whip to try to find the eggs with no consistency whatsoever. So I am so glad they fix this. Thank you, Wildcard. Oh my gosh. But you guys missed something that's actually really important, and I'm hoping that maybe it's just fixed and they didn't list it, or my goodness, I hope they fix it next time. I will cover that soon. The Volanosaur, guys. Oh, finally. Things are starting to look up in this world. I swear, Ark is starting to make a comeback. All right, so we have increased accuracy for the AoE attack. That is so important. Oh my gosh. Like, I was struggling with my Velonosaurs. Like, please, I couldn't, you couldn't really control it. And then the reduced AoE damage to compensate for the increased accuracy, because yeah, when you're more accurate, you're more lethal. So of course, that's a nice little balance right here. And then the wild Velonosaurs will no longer shoot for too long. I don't know if you saw it, but some of them were very broken, and they would shoot for such an extended period of time. You were like, is this thing ever going to stop? I mean, it was definitely a problem. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but I did. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then the fix for the wild Velonosaurs not doing damage in PvE. PvEers were definitely benefiting from a lot of these broken things because, yeah, stuff was just not attacking them or hurting them and things. Like, you can't have that. You have to have, you know, a balance. And that was definitely a huge issue. So they did the improvements on the desyncs and then reduced hovering when walking because that was also a problem. And this one was huge. The AoE attacks will no longer loot victims. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was kind of ridiculous that it even did that. You're like, it's a Velonosaur. It's not supposed to be able to do that. So they did fix that. Whew. Thank you, Wildcard. Oh my gosh. Like, I am loving this patch because there are so many things being fixed. And then we have the Mana Garmer. So again, these are all just basic things, but this one right here, the slowed down baby Mana Garmers. I don't know if you've raised one yet. I have raised them. They are a pain in the butt because the babies are insane, just like the parents. So yeah, this is going to make raising the Mana Garmers so much better. And you guys know, like, I breed. That's what I focus on. I focus on breeding. I love that part of this game. It is fun, it's exciting, and it's challenging. But this was kind of ridiculous. And I have footage of what I was going through with the babies. And let me tell you, it sucked. So if you've raised them, you know. If you didn't raise them, just be glad that they fixed this before you had actually got in there to raise them because, yeah, it sucked. Now, the Enforcers got an update as well. They fixed the instances where the Enforcers would teleport to a non-existent wall. I don't know if you saw them hovering at nothing. They would be there just literally floating, and you're like, what is going on? Well, they fixed that. The only benefit when that would happen was you could actually, you know, trap them, kill them, and get their blueprints pretty easy, because they would just be sitting there. And then, of course, they fixed it where they would jump back to their last position. That was actually kind of convenient. I did like that, but I knew it was a glitch, and I knew that they would eventually fix it. I'm just glad it came in sooner rather than later. The Scouts. Improved Scout tagging accuracy, because I don't know if you guys dealt with that, but that sucked. It was really complicated. It really made no sense why they were not accurate, considering that was the purpose of them. And I'm glad they finally fixed it. And then, of course, the improvements to player inspection. And now the Scouts will show floating damage text when damaged, because you didn't know if you were going to lose them. You didn't see it. It wasn't there. And that's kind of important, you know, if you're in a situation where that matters. Yeah, so that is now fixed. Thank goodness, right? Whew, some of this stuff is so good. All right, the item balloon. And it looks like they have not fixed where you can carry dinos on them, because everyone was like, oh no, they're going to fix it because that shouldn't be there. Well, it's not in here as of yet, it looks like. Fixes where it wasn't going to the correct destination, which was definitely an issue because you would put in the numbers and it would not go there. And then balloons that didn't explode when landing. They still don't explode if you're mounted on a dino, at least the last time I tried it. They did not explode as soon as they landed. It was kind of like a soft landing, and they would sit there, and then you would, you know, demount your dino, and then it would go poof, and it would explode. So now that is fixed. And then the improvements to weight calculation, because that was a glitch. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was issues with weight, and it was causing a lot of problems. There was also benefits to it, using it as a glitch, but now it looks like it's fixed. So if you're using the glitch, which not many people talked about, it doesn't look like you'll be able to do that anymore, but I'll have to go in and test it to see if they actually fixed the glitch or if they just fixed the weight issues, because they're slightly different in comparison. Now, gachas, okay, fix for unclamped loot quality, because loot quality is always an issue, and I still have another gacha production video to do to show you guys something that works even better than all the rest. That is coming. We have been so busy, but I love this. It really just is so enjoyable. And then the fix the incorrect UI when taming is interrupted, because that was also an issue. Glad it's fixed now. Ice Titan, fix for the broken dino animations related to the ice breath, because yep, that was definitely happening. And then increased collision radius for shoulder corruption. All important. This one's funny to me because I don't know if many people actually knew about this, but we tend to see a lot of glitches and a lot of issues, but we don't share them anymore because we don't want to cause, a lot of problems. We don't hoard information, but if it's an actual breaking game kind of glitch, we don't share it. They did fix this one though, improved flyer following when in water. This one probably is not fixed completely because there is a glitch related to that I have not seen fixed, but I'm not going to go over that here because it's a game-breaking glitch that hopefully Wildcard will fix. We did put it in for them to fix it. We tried to notify Wildcard for all fixes, and glitches that are dangerous, okay? Because, we will share information that's not dangerous to people, but if it could hurt people both on PvP and PvE, we're not going to share that. We will report it and hope that Wildcard gets around to fix it. And then fix low-frequency crashes. That's been a problem, especially for me. If you watch our Let's Play, I talk about it a lot. I'm having a lot of issues. And then the Manticore improvements to the landing logic. That was becoming a big problem with the Manticore. The Manticore, when you were in the boss fight, wow. So this is awesome, and I am so grateful for a lot of this stuff. There's another one here I'm really happy about. I don't know if you've noticed about the server performance. The server performance, especially on Xbox, this goes hand in hand right here. They looked so bad. The land would change. Oh my gosh, what we were experiencing, especially on Xbox, because I did experience it on PC as well, but this on Xbox, because that's where we've been spending a lot of time. Holy moly, what the freaking heck, right? It was so bad. Dinos looked ugly like they used to, all deformed, and then you have to sit there and stare at them for a while, and eventually they would kind of fix, and you're just like, oh, this sucks. Especially the land coming in and out, it would look good and then look bad, look good, look bad, look. And I was like, this is just garbage. So that is fixed, and I don't know if it's great fixed, but I'll take any fix at this point. Map markers. Finally, oh my gosh, Wildcard. I couldn't even figure out why this was a problem where you couldn't put in 46.2, 46.9, things like that, where if especially you're sending a balloon, it's my base isn't an exact number. My base is off with a point whatever, and now it's fixed. Thank goodness. I was so aggravated with that because I was like, okay, we have to make sure, when we pick bases, we literally pick bases where we can try to find an actual point that's exact. So when the balloon lands, we know exactly where it's going to go. That was becoming a huge problem. I was so irritated. It's fixed, guys. I'm so thankful. You have no idea. Something as simple as a decimal point can make a huge difference in gameplay. Let me tell you. All right, and then the last thing that we're going to talk, besides the Daedon, it's disabled when it's frozen. It shouldn't be healing when it's frozen because it's in stasis. They did fix it, but they slowed down the baby food consumption rate on the snow owls. If you've raised snow owls, you'll know it sucked to raise baby snow owls. They went through so much food. You were like, I cannot keep up with the snow owl. It was so stressful. It felt like when they with the jerboas back in the day, a long time ago, when the jerboas would eat so fast and they would forget to eat, and you were just like, they would die one after another. I spent an entire day unofficial with one jerboa, okay? One jerboa, an entire day, just sitting there feeding it and making sure. I had to hand feed that sucker the whole time. Actually, no, it was two green ones, and one of them we gave to now our not friend, but I spent the whole day with them. Literally, I couldn't leave. I had to hand feed them. And the baby snow owls were very similar in that respect. And I am just so glad, right, that this stuff has been changed. Now, let's talk about what I know. One thing that is not listed out of all of this that is a huge, huge problem, okay? Artifacts not spawning in the caves on Ragnarok. I can't speak for the other maps because we haven't done them besides Extinction. Okay, Extinction seems to be fine. I have not been back over on the island or Scorched Earth, so I don't know if it's happening there as well in the caves, but it is absolutely happening on Ragnarok. Today, we went in because two people came to us and said, hey, the artifacts and things are not spawning in the Ice Queen. And we're like, oh man. And I had heard that, but I didn't know it was still going on. So we went in today and we did the Ice Queen. Nothing. None of the drops were there and the artifact wasn't there. Well, how in the heck are you going to do a boss fight if you can't get the artifacts? So we're going to do the golem and verify that it's not there. Now, again, we're going to go back in and do it again now that this update has happened. because I need to see if it's fixed, and maybe they forgot to list it. All I can do is hope that maybe with the fix of the eggs, that also fixed the artifacts, because they're invisible. Like if you walk up to where it is, you hit something, but you can't open it. We even tried the whip to see if maybe we would get lucky, which I didn't think it would work because you have to physically open up, you know, the drops. But we wanted to try everything at this point. So I'm hoping with this fix right here, it fixed that, and I will let you guys know if it is or if it isn't, especially if you play on our servers, because for the people who play on our servers, if it's not fixed, you guys just show us that you went through and you did it, and we will give you the artifacts that you need. It sucks that we have to spend the time spawning stuff, but like we can't prevent people from doing boss fights. That's not fair. So if it wasn't fixed in this patch, Wildcard needs to fix it. And I highly suggest if you guys follow them on Twitter, let them know it's still happening, and we will go in and verify, and I will also send them a message on Twitter. They seem to read those more than other things. So definitely hit them up if it's still happening, because they need to do a patch, because that's preventing people from doing boss fights on Ragnarok. And if you're unofficial, that sucks because you don't have anybody to help you with the artifact situation, right? So I am going to go in and check to see if it is fixed. I will let you guys know if it is or if it isn't. And that is something that we need to bomb them on Twitter and say, guys, please fix this. This is preventing us from doing those boss fights, and we need to do boss fights to unlock stuff. So most definitely. But this patch is awesome. I don't know if you guys noticed anything else. There is some other stuff that I'm not going to cover that they didn't do. Again, game-breaking glitches that we send in privately in hopes that they fix it. But guys, so many things are fixed on Extinction, and I really do love that map, even though Aberration is literally my favorite map, which people think I'm crazy, but I love Aberration. But Extinction is a really great map, and I'm so glad they're fixing things, especially the Titans. Holy moly, I needed these fixes because our friends who play official PvP, I mean, the servers are so low pop. I mean, it's so bad. I mean, it's gotten a little bit better. Some people are kind of going back in trickles, you know, here and there, like, let's just see if it's any better. And, you know, the Alpha Tribe gets the Titan and freaking wipes everybody. And you're just sitting there like, well, it's not fixed. But now, especially with turret damage, you know, doing more damage and things like that, I really think official will make a comeback. And I hope it makes a comeback because I don't want anything to happen to this game. And I know I'm still talking, guys, but this is stuff that's really important to me. And of course, if you're not interested, just, you know, fast forward, or, you know, you can turn the video off. But like, these are things that I definitely wanted to talk to you guys about. And I just appreciate having the opportunity and ability to do so. So if you guys noticed anything else that maybe got fixed that they didn't cover, be sure to leave that in the comments, because this stuff is for the community and we come together as a community. Lucky Nation is a very strong community and you guys help each other out so much, and we appreciate you guys so much. But that's it for this video, guys. Would love to hear from you. Let me know what you guys think, especially with things like the PvE changes with the orbital supply drops and the element veins and things of that nature. But love you guys. Thank you so much for watching and supporting us. We truly appreciate it. You guys make all of this possible, and we just love the work that we do. So until next time, you know what it is. Keep surviving.
My work saved the human race.